It's almost 1 o'clock, but I am here in Hawaii. I slept about 13, 14 hours to get over my jet lag, and now I feel good. I'm gonna grab some lunch, and then I'm going to drive up Mauna Kea, the giant volcano. And I'm going to hike Mauna Kea and go to the top and then look through a telescope at the top, which is pretty cool. It's something I've never done before. I have my hiking boots on, which I've taken for the past 2 months across the entire planet, all the way around pretty much, only to use them at the last stop of my trip. I haven't used them anywhere else. I used them in Venice for like 10 minutes when there was water all over the ground, if you remember that. But other than that, I finally get a chance to use them. Here's the car I got, which is pretty cool. It is a Dodge, and it's nice and new. It's only got like 30,000 miles, so I get a very nice car to drive around Hawaii. I picked the red one, of course, because red makes it go faster. It's a faster color, is what I want to say, compared to like white or black or something like that. For now, I'm gonna grab some lunch, I guess it is now, have something good to eat, fill my stomach, then go to 7-Eleven, grab some snacks, grab a couple drinks for the mountain, and then I'm gonna hike and hopefully have a good time. So here I am at the top of Mauna Kea, which is the tallest volcano in Hawaii. There's not much volcanic activity up here for the past 5,000 or 6,000 years or something, so not too worried about that. But there's a lot of observatories up here, which is pretty cool. You can't actually go in, so that's too bad, but you do get a really good view being up here. It's essentially the only mountain around. If you look, it's just like a sea of clouds way down there, which is pretty cool. And I'm gonna be up here for the sunset. So my plan is I'm gonna watch the shadow below the mountain just extend and extend and extend. I might take a time lapse or something. And then I'm gonna watch the sunset on the other side because the shadow is gonna be all the way to the horizon by the time the sun's setting. So I kind of get both. And hopefully it looks good. Then I'm gonna go down there, look through a telescope. Maybe I'm gonna try to get some long exposure shots of the sky, which I've been learning how to do, or I learned how to do a couple months ago, and I'm gonna try it out. And I haven't had an opportunity to do so. So hopefully it'll be pretty cool. Either way, hopefully it looks good. So I'm going on a little hike today, and I looked at the map and I saw there was a volcano, 4,000 feet, and I thought, oh, I'll climb that volcano. And then when I get here, I realized the volcano is in a pit behind me. So there's no hiking up, it's just across, which is too bad because I wanted to do some climbing today, but I guess I'll do that tomorrow instead. I hear there's a lava tube here though, and that sounds interesting, so I'm on the hunt looking for that lava tube to see if I can find a cave that I can go hide in or something like that. Might be interesting. There's definitely some volcanic activity down there, looking at all the steam and I don't know what else is down there, all that black rock. But I don't think you're allowed down there for fear that you would just collapse right through the bottom of the floor and right into a pit of lava or something. I'm looking, there are people down there though, so maybe I can get down there somehow if I keep walking this way. I don't see how, but there I do see two people way down there. You see that little white thing? There's some people standing next to it. Probably the signs say, whatever you do, do not enter or something like that. So I probably won't be able to enter. But it looks like there might be a pathway. If you're looking, you can kind of see, I don't know if that's like a trail or what. If it's a trail, that'll be really interesting. I'll definitely check it out. But if not, then I guess I'll just go look at the volcanic rock down there, maybe pick up a souvenir. For now, hope you enjoy. I'm standing right now, I am on top of the lava flats in this big kind of bowl where periodically this is all hot magma that's spewed out of the earth and it forms these sort of hills. I feel fortunate that right now there is no lava, so I can walk over here and I'm not going to fall into a flaming pit. Because the other bowl right next door has a bunch of lava in it. You saw earlier all the steam coming up. That's from water that's hitting the hot magma under the earth. But this one, I guess, is fine for now. Lucky me. Hopefully nothing changes about that while I'm here. For now, I'm just going to keep walking, trying to find this lava tube. I saw a sign way back there that said it was 2 miles away, so once I'm there, hopefully I'll know what I'm looking at. So I kept walking and now I'm in a rainforest, it looks like. Reminds me of Ecuador or something. I know I'm still walking farther away from where I started, so this is gonna be a long trip. I've already been an hour and a half. Probably gonna be like a 4-hour thing. Oh, that's all right. I made it to the edge of Hawaii, where the Pacific goes for 3,000 or 4,000 miles. It's pretty cool. Oh, but I am tired from all the hiking. I did like 4 hours of hiking today, which is not terrible, but it just makes me tired and makes me want to go back to a hotel and relax. I'm trying a different hotel today compared to yesterday. The last hotel I was at wasn't too good, even though it was pretty expensive. I think I'm just gonna walk back to my car, take the long drive back to Hilo, which is where I'm staying. Maybe find some interesting souvenirs along the way. Tomorrow I'm planning on going to the only obsidian mine in all of Hawaii, which is pretty cool. If you look where I am, I'm on a lava flow, which is where lava spilled out of that volcano up there. It just kept coming and kept coming, and it forms this sort of porous, very not dense rock, which is really terrible for making tools and stuff like that. But at this other part of Hawaii, on the other side, I'll have to drive to, apparently 100,000 years ago or something, there was this huge eruption that threw stones from really deep inside the volcano, and there was obsidian with that. And obsidian, if you don't know, is this really useful stone for making very, very sharp tools. In fact, they even used to make surgical scalpels out of it for a while, which is pretty impressive. Reminds me a lot of Iceland, this place. I guess it makes sense. Any sort of volcanic activity is going to look the same. All right, see you later. So here I am in Hawaii, day 3 or 4 of my time here, and I am walking in a park that literally nobody else is in. I guess it's not one of the main parks, it's not a big mountain, so nobody comes here. But I'm here because I want to find a piece of obsidian. I'm already seeing larger bits on the side of the trail, but I want to go up the mountain to where it actually is. If you can see, right behind me there, it's a minor volcano here in Hawaii, and I'm going to hike it and hopefully find a piece of obsidian, because this is the only place in all of Hawaii and all the islands where you can find obsidian, which makes it very special and unique because it's an incredibly valuable resource, especially for the native Hawaiians who are living here. It's hot though. Jeez. It's like 80, 90 degrees. Yesterday it was nice and cool, but I guess because I'm low, only 2,000 feet. Yesterday I was like 13,000 feet or something, so it makes sense that it's a lot, what's the word? It's a lot hotter down here. Oh, for now I'm just gonna walk. Hopefully I see something interesting up ahead. So while walking around, I found something very interesting. I found a vertebrae. Judging by the size of it, I'm pretty sure it's not human. Likely belonged to a cow. Considering the land I'm walking on as recently as 2007 was a ranch, it makes sense that within that ranch you would find a cow's vertebrae. If it dies for whatever reason over a long period of time, it would stick around for a while. Just the vertebrae though, which is also interesting. Wonder where the rest of the cow went. Probably didn't leave one of its vertebrae and walk away, I had to guess. So for whatever reason, this vertebrae ended up on the side of the trail without the rest. Perhaps some sort of creature was carrying a piece of the dead cow back to its lair and dropped the vertebrae. Or perhaps the rest of the cow got moved, or perhaps it was a person who moved it, decided they didn't want it, so they just dropped it on the ground. Either way, it's very intriguing, as you can really look at what a mammalian spine is made out of. You know, this used to be part of a living thing that maybe wasn't conscious in the same sense as a human is, but it had, at the very least, some experience of reality similar to us. And cows are quite intelligent as well. So this was once part of a thinking, living being that had an experience of the world, and now it's just a piece of bone on the side of a trail. I don't imagine the cow had a particularly interesting life, but perhaps it saw some cool things from time to time on the ranch. Either way, I'm going to hold on to this. I'm going to bring it with me. Take it as a little memento for my trip. You know, looking at all the gift shops and trinket stores on my whole trip, I've gone in a lot of them. I usually don't buy anything. Very rarely do I see something I think, oh, I could want that. Most of the time it says, oh, that's interesting, but not something I want to have in my home and carry with me all the way back. But this, something that's free, and something that wasn't manufactured, definitely appeals to me a lot more. Oh, if you look behind me, that's the mountain. I'm getting a lot closer. Whew, I think I've already gone up, well, not that much. I've gone up like 500 feet. Felt like a lot more. But that was interesting. For now, I'll get back to you when I find something else interesting, like obsidian, or perhaps the top of the mountain if I don't find any obsidian. But judging from the small bits of obsidian I was seeing in the pavement in the road earlier, I'm highly confident that I'm going to find something. Some obsidian rock, which would also be quite cool. So I've gotten pretty far, and finally, I found the obsidian. That, it definitely is obsidian because it is glass, you can tell. But it's about the size of the, what's the word? It's about the size of my pinky fingernail, very small. But I see little bits here and there on the trail. So I assume the farther I go, the more bits I'll see as I get closer to wherever the source is. And now, if you look behind me, there are goats. And there's some over there too. Just chilling on the side of the trail. And a bird as well. This little walking bird. Oh, you can't see it anymore. Oh, I'm about halfway to the top, so that's good. Problem is I forgot to bring water. I had water in my bag, but I drank it all last night. Oh, which wasn't wise. But I'll be all right. It's not that long of a hike, and down is easy. I made it to the top. Behind me is a mountain that's like 4 times taller, which I won't be climbing. That was a good hike, about an hour and a half up, probably an hour down. View is very nice. This used to be a volcano at one point, and now it's just covered in grass. No more volcanic activity. But if you look around, you'll spot right behind, right there, you'll see little hills that seem to come out of nowhere. There's an even better one right there. These are little volcanoes where lava at one point spewed out, but not much. Of course, the main amount of magma coming out of the earth came from the giant volcano, which is one of the biggest. To hike that, I think it would take 7 to 8 hours, which is just too much. I don't want to do that. I'm tired though. My heart rate got to 174 because I was really pushing it to get to the top. I didn't want to stop. But I'm gonna head down now so I can go find something to drink and maybe something to eat too. Something good to eat. For now, hope you enjoyed. I didn't get much video just because I was focused on climbing, but I hope you enjoyed. I made it far enough. I'm finally alone in Hawaii. I have my own beach. My own big field of devastation behind me. The sand isn't as fine as you'd expect. It's very sharp. Probably because it's very fresh, very new, coming from the volcano over there a couple decades ago. I don't think I'm gonna go swimming because if you get swept out there, there's nobody in the whole world who would ever know where I was. I'd just be dead. Game over. The sand's nicer down here. Maybe I'll put my feet in the water, but looking at those waves, and this is just on a normal day, definitely not going swimming. But this is all pretty cool. Hey, look at this, a coconut. See, it's no surprise that coconuts are on every tropical island because they very easily get swept up in the water and then eventually land somewhere and germinate. And then you got coconut trees. Most seeds can't do that, but coconuts, they're huge, so I'm sure they can handle it. Interestingly enough, I guess I'm not the only one who's here, because here's some footprints. Depending on if the tide's going out or in, relatively recent footprints, which is sort of interesting. Either way, it's pretty cool. I don't want to run into anyone out here, I feel like, though. Kind of in the middle of nowhere. But interestingly enough, I still have cell service, so that's good. Either way, this is sort of my last day in Hawaii. The last day on my trip. And it's good and bad. Good because I get to go home. And I feel like I've been away long enough that it's time to start heading back to New York where I live. But bad because my trip is over. And it'll be a little while at least before I go on to another trip, like this especially. But I think I've gained a lot of insight. I think I've really come to understand exactly what I like about the world, which places I like, and which places I'm comfortable doing without, at least for vacation's sake. Either way, I've made a lot of new friends. I've seen a whole lot of new stuff, and I think I've gained some interesting new perspective on the world in general that I wouldn't have been able to gain just from reading a book or watching a video or anything like that. The whole world seems a lot more real now that I've been across it, around it. But this is sort of the end of my trip. This is the end of my experience, and it's time to head home and get back to work. Got a lot to do. Big ambitions coming up in the next year or so. Hopefully, I can say next year that things will be a lot better and I'll be able to afford even bigger of a trip, which would be great. For now, though, this has been Tom Blaze. I hope you've really enjoyed all the videos I produced on this wonderful trip around the world, and I'll see you next time. I've been to a lot of places over the past year, and a few of them, not many, but a few look like alien planets. I feel like that's where I am right now, on an alien planet. I'm on a beach of black sand with black rocks everywhere and no life, no trees, no nothing. For all I know, I could be on some world surrounding some star a million light years away, with life yet to start. Wouldn't that be interesting? But I'm just in Hawaii. Not that far. There is life, but just not much right here because it was recently bowled over by a bunch of lava. I've almost gotten to my destination, which very few people go to because it's in the middle of nowhere with no road. at the end of Hawaii. Oh, but I'm almost there. Oh, I hurt my foot and I hurt my hand walking on this sharp lava. So it doesn't look too sharp when you're looking at it, but sometimes it gets incredibly sharp. Now where I'm going is to the end of that jetty over there. Really the end of Hawaii. If I look that way, thousands of miles, there's nothing. Well, somewhere out there, there's the next island of Hawaii under the ocean, not too far. But beyond that, it's nothing till you get to California or Mexico or something, which is quite interesting. Either way, I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna have something to eat, and then I'm gonna essentially start the end of my journey. I'm gonna walk back to my car, back to the hotel, go to sleep, and then tomorrow I'm flying back to New York. Something like a 10-hour flight. It's not short, but not too bad either. Interestingly, I'll be flying from one end of the United States to the other, pretty much, from Hawaii to New York, which I haven't done yet. That'll be interesting. All right, let's see. I gotta put down my phone so I can focus on taking a walk and not falling into the ocean over here. I'm not gonna eat at the end over there, which is only like 30 feet away, because it's all wet and it's covered in bird crap over there for some reason. And if the top of the rocks over there are wet, it probably means these waves splash up on top, which I don't want to be sitting, eating, and getting splashed over and over. But where I'm sitting right now, mostly dry, so it should be all right. It's a bridge to nowhere. That way is the United States. That way is Hawaii. I guess they gave up on building the bridge.